It's podcast time with me, Tommy Sandhu. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Tommy Sandhu podcast. I hope you're enjoying them all so far. I love these conversations, and this is my chance to talk to people that I wouldn't normally get to talk to in a way that actually I don't think a lot of people are talking to these kind of musicians and artists and guests. And this podcast is with a lovely young man, and that's really what he is. He's lovely. I feel like such an old man saying that, but he is. It's Siddhant Bhosle, and Siddhant is the son of Sudesh Bhosle. Sudesh Bhosle is a guy that did all, like literally most of anyway, Amitabh Bachchan's voices. He was the singer in Jumma Jumma De, and also in Shava Shava. Everyone thinks it's the Big B. It's not. It's this kid's dad, Sudesh Bhosle. So I was talking to Siddhant because Siddhant is part of this kind of new generation of Indian producer, singer, artist, composer, who are like making their way and changing the game. So I wanted to talk to people like him, like Amal Malik, and like others that we've done, because I think they're going to run the whole scene in a few years' time. The oldies are going to kind of drop off. That's the fact, right? So he's the new wave, and I just kind of wanted to know, like, what's going on? What's happening in the scene? Amal Malik only last week told me, there's a big shift away from these big labels running the scene, and there's more independence. I recently saw Siddhant, who you're going to hear from, was with Arman Malik recently, and the kind of new generation of singers that he's working with. So I've seen it all on his Instagram. He's a lovely lad, and I wanted to have a chat with him, and hopefully for anyone who's got a passion about music or getting into music, and maybe even getting into Bollywood music. There's a lot of British singers or Canadian singers, American singers who are wanting to make music that connects to their Desi roots, and they want to make it for Bollywood, or they want to make it for the Indian scene, because let's face it, there's 1.4 billion people there that could love your music. But how do you get into that, and what's happening there? Well, Siddhant's the man. So enjoy our chat with Siddhant Bhosle on the Tommy Sandhu podcast.
Okay.
Hey Siddhant, how you doing, man?
Dude, how's it going?
Yeah, love your hair, by the way. It kind of looks like I want to touch it. I think it's soft to the touch. Because what is it about Indian boys at the moment? They love they give it something. Don't they? I think everyone's trying to outdo each other.
Exactly. I think it just gives an extra inch of height. And everyone.
You know what it is?
And might as well, while it's there, just make it stand.
Hey, if my face is evidence of anything, it will tell you that nothing lasts forever, particularly hair. Okay, it can all be gone. Siddhant, one day you're like that, the next day you're like this. So enjoy it. Hey, man. Love it. Love the studio setup as well. Where are you right now? Where are you in the world?
So I am right now in Mumbai. This is my studio here, and it's like a brand new studio we just built. Luckily, last year. It was just got done before the lockdown. So this is my personal setup where all the magic is created from my end in terms of making the songs, doing all my recordings, and especially in the lockdown, having this setup just helped so much, just recording my vocals and sending it out. So
I can tell you even from a podcast angle, the one thing that nobody could get hold of during lockdown was studio equipment. So are you behind lockdown? Did you create COVID-19? Did you create the coronavirus? Siddhant Bhosle, I'm just saying, you create a brand new studio, and then the world has to all work from home, and you've got a lovely new studio. I don't know. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, man. No, but luckily it worked out so well, man. I'm just fingers crossed because got done, and the lockdown just kicked in. Unfortunately, it had who would imagine, man, we would be in this pandemic and the lockdown and such horrific things happening. But this studio is literally one thing that kind of kept me going. I'm okay, at least I have this place, and it's super convenient for me because I stay in the same building up on the top floor. So it's okay, that's sorted. In terms of just getting up and heading down to the studio, just making music. And that is what actually happened in the lockdown, because there was literally I can't go anywhere, I can't jam with people, and I'm okay, I'm just gonna go here, just put all my ideas down, and that kind of started off the whole independent music journey as well for me.
Oh, man, listen, and talking of which, you did a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Dinorati in lockdown. So
Yeah.
so what happened? What comes first, lockdown or the track in that respect?
The lockdown. Actually, the lockdown was there, and this was, I think, 20, 25 days into the lockdown. Everyone was getting used to this whole new, like, what is happening? Like, okay, are we going to do like online workouts and like cooking and like watching movies? And you're like, how much are we going to stretch this out? Like, so like, okay, we're just sitting here. And literally, like, the thought that came to my mind was like how I was feeling was time and days and night is just like flowing by.
Yeah.
It's literally like every day is the same. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, it's been like 2 months in, 3 months into the lockdown, it's just like flowing. And we're hearing all these, like such sad news, just like fingers crossed that people are safe and like keeping their masks on and all of that. And literally the line that came to my head was, Din aur raate behte hi jaye. And that's how it kind of just started, this whole journey for the song. And for me, Din aur Raate is always going to be a very, very special song, because it kind of, even now whenever I listen to it, kind of just encapsulates and brings me back to that, that moment, that headspace I was in. It's like, I always say like songs are like photographs, but like for memories, like in audio form.
Yeah.
So there might be like so many songs that you listen to that you've heard in college, or like you were going through a breakup, or you were like partying, and that entire like memory just gets like locked into that song.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Because okay, this is, get ready. I'm about to go a little bit weird, but you got to go with me here. You're an artist as well. You're a singer. You're a songwriter. So you got to go with me on this one. Music for me, old music, nostalgic music, is the closest thing to time travel. Now, right, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes, bro, because I was a DJ throughout the mid 90s, late 90s into the 2000 and a bit. And sometimes I hear a song, bruv, I can't explain it. It's like I get this sicky feeling of I've moved. My soul has moved or something. I can smell the club. I can see the scene. I can even sometimes, like, I remember like certain songs from my exams when I was 15, 16 years old. I'm like, oh my God, I'm there. I'm back there.
Exactly.
So isn't it? But do you think that's us because we love music, or because I don't think everyone's connected to music like that? Somebody go, oh yeah, I like it. Oh, it's a nice song, isn't it? And that's it. That's where it ends.
Yeah, I guess like everyone has like a slightly different like connect to the music, but like at least of course like because I'm a musician, all my friends are like kind of musicians and like into this thing, and I mean even you're telling me that thing because it's exactly like we're into this like 24/7. But even like others who kind of have no connection to the music, and that's what has happened luckily like with Din aur Raate as well, because I'm getting messages even now every day because people are kind of uh, listening to the song at different times in their lives. Like someone's just heard the song, so they're like, "Oh my God!" Or someone's like, "Oh, I heard this song when I was in Manali for my trip, and I was hiking and I was doing this." So that song is like kind of tied to that experience for me. But yeah, man, is the same because for me too, there are a few songs like there's Gravity by John Mayer. There's like a lot of John Mayer that I personally love, like John Mayer, and that's how my whole songwriting thing started. So there are these songs that I used to listen in college or in school, and it has this, nostalgic like punch to it. Every time you listen to it, you're like, oh wow, like it just takes you back. Exactly as you said, it is time traveling.
It's a close thing because I think, and then I think, this is in my fantasy world, there's a cartoon or a show or something where you, my hero, which is me, the writer, like can travel through music. And I thought, wouldn't that be sick? Imagine hearing a song go, bang, I'm at Woodstock. Bam, I'm in the 1920s. Bam, I'm in the doo-wop era of like, like that kind of like the 1950s romantic American big cars, driving diner movie places. I'm like, I want to live that. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't necessarily want to live it as a brown boy, probably in some racist times like that. But you know what I'm saying. I want to be like a good-looking white guy with a six-pack and loads of hot chicks around me. But now I'm into another kind of fantasy, and I don't think that's the nature of our conversation. What I do want to talk about with you, though, because you are a mishmash, and I think I want to explore the mishmash element of you and life, because I think one of the biggest things anybody wants is an identity. We all say, oh, I like hip hop, I like house, I like whatever, right? Or I like this football team. Oh, I'm Indian. Oh, I'm Team Pakistan. Or I'm Sikh. I'm Hindu. We all want to attach ourselves to something. You've lived your life in India, in America. You listen to music from around the world. So your music is your identity. But you're as screwed up as the rest of us, mate. I'm sorry. What is it? I mean, and because everyone says, oh, you gotta be something, man. You gotta stand for one thing, man. You can't be a jack of all trades. You gotta be a master of one. How are you managing that?
So it's like for me, I don't think I'll ever be like, content or happy with just doing like kind of that one solo thing. For me as an artist, I find that experimentation and the whole process of learning something new, just because you're like, oh shit, do I know this? I'm not sure. Like, I'm gonna be good at it, I'm gonna be bad at it, and like just that initial phase of it. And that's exactly how my songwriting started as well. So it's been like, at home there was this one side that was strong Bollywood, as you know it. So it's like there where it's like all the Kishore Kumar songs, all the retro songs, hey hey ho ho, like literally like all of that happening 24/7. And listening to that music is, I didn't like kind of realize it when I was younger, and just all the R.D. Burman songs, Kishore Kumar, listen to Mohammad Rafi ji, just it's just being played like in the background everywhere 24/7. That's like one side of it. And again, like uh, there was so much of newness, experimentation, as well as this authenticity to the music back then, and it is there right now as well. It's just a matter of different perspectives and different likings. That's what I feel. But with that, the other side was like my mom plays the piano, so she had
She's we should clarify. She doesn't just play the piano. Your mum's an awesome pianist, is what she is, and your dad's an awesome vocalist. I guess it's just a way to put him down. But and people will know who your dad is, and Sudesh is just awesome. And I loved him when he was on the podcast last time. So you've got that. You've got the voice influence. You got the musical influence. Right. You got the Bollywood connects all going on around you, and your dad's in the heart of it with being the voice of the big B and all that, right? So it's not like, oh, he dabbles in a bit of club singing. You're in the hurricane, you're in the tornado of all this music, of that music. So saying, like, you kind of got a purer taste of what's going on. You are that product right now.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, again, like, I feel so grateful just to be born in this house, because like literally since I was 5, I used to stand in the wings watching my dad perform on stage, the way he's interacting with everyone. Just, because I feel like once he's on stage, like I haven't seen a better performer in terms of like someone who's on stage who just grasps the audience and like controls the entire like stadium concert venue. Just everyone's like just staring at him. And the same thing even when I was young, like even now, every time I'm like just observing him, seeing what all I can learn from him and how's it going. But coming back to like the journey, so this entire like strong Bollywood side, as well as like my mom's playing the piano, and she's introducing me to like ABBA and the Beatles and all of that. So it was literally like this blend of both worlds that was like perfect. And my grandfather, that's my mom's dad, he is a guitarist. So they had this orchestra in Pune, which is called the Melody Makers. It was like it was a super famous orchestra in the 60s, 70s, 80s. They were like basically Kishore Kumar's main band. So he was the one who kind of literally like, okay, here's the guitar, this is how you hold it. And I know I'm just gonna show you all like the
Look at
rack
that.
right there with all the
You got,
guitars.
how? So you got like one, two, what's that? Like four, 5 guitars there. I can't see.
Yeah, four, there are a couple of ones here, but
So from a guy who told you how to hold it, I'm sure he'd be very proud right now. And you go, oh my God, he went and got a whole
yeah,
rack full of them.
yeah. In fact, I'm gonna show you.
Go, go, go. Yeah, give me a little.
This is his like 1975 Les Paul, which he kind of gave it, passed it on to me, so to say. It's like so heavy, and this is the one he used to play with. So that's Melody Makers, his
Right.
band name and
Oh,
everything.
you know
And
what? Hey, if instruments could tell stories, eh? If
yeah,
that guitar could talk, what's it seen? What's it been a part of?
it's
It
just like bruised and like used to its like core, but
Hey, that guitar is symbolic of every musician in the industry throughout the 70s and 80s. They come out a little bit bruised, a little bit worn at the edges, but hey, they've got character and they've got stories to tell. That's the main
yeah,
thing.
dude.
So,
So
so you've got all that going around you, but that's what I mean. So then how do you pick a style? Because in this day and age, people want to know. I mean, I was talking to Amal Malik the other day,
yeah,
and he was saying, the tricky thing, and I know you're close with the Malik brothers as well, and I know you're close with Imran and all that. So he was saying, like, people, it's with playback producing particularly, it's like, do it in this style, do it in that style. But that's slowly changing. Can you just be you?
yeah,
Can Siddhant just make Siddhant's music?
yeah.
And that's, I don't know what's going on in
Uh-huh.
the scene.
Yeah, so exactly. So uh with these influences, my journey was like, okay, I'm singing. After
Mm.
that, doing all these shows, I started accompanying my dad, doing a lot of the how the industry works in terms of, okay, trying to get in touch with music composers, getting in touch with music directors, and showing up there in the studio. You've got 30 minutes. Okay, this is the song. Like your proper playback singing, you're singing demos, you're doing scratches. All of that's happening. But along the way, I knew that the kind of music we're listening to, all the global artists, like from your Justin Bieber's to John Mayer, Charlie Puth, those kind of songs and those artists really kind of clicked, just sparked something in me in terms of the sound with the music production. I was like, okay, I know I'm singing all these songs here. There's this huge diversity of music in India, but I still want to get out there and see what are the techniques, what are the sounds being used, and how are these guys making their songs. And that's how I moved to San Francisco for a couple of years, and later on moved to Los Angeles, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna just learn how to do music production. I did a course, a 1 year course, because I was just in touch with guitar and singing and performing. Like this whole music production side was really new and different and technical for me. So I was like, okay, let's just give it a try. I was learning music production. I moved to Los Angeles, where I just started off songwriting. It was And the scene in Los Angeles is so good because it's like, okay, you're in a room with like 4 to 5 other songwriters. Everyone's equally good at singing, everyone's equally good at songwriting and music production. And everyone's just throwing ideas at each other. Okay, like a melody idea from someone, a lyric idea from someone. And at the end of 30 minutes, you've got an entire song with the production, with the vocals, and that entire, back and forth, the exchanges of, energies, and just like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm jamming with this person. So that's what kind of, led me to, okay, I know that I love this sound, which is your international pop, global pop.
Right.
Having that as the core of the production, but with all these amazing, Bollywood influences, Indian influences, but still having that modern pop melody line going on it, which is like maybe say Bollywood inspired or even pop inspired. So that kind of really positioned my sound in terms of just for myself, because like for every musician, like it's a process to just reach that place where you can discover your sound, or just be like, okay, yeah, this is me, this is my identity, this is the sound I relate to.
Mm.
And I feel being in the Indian music industry, it's such a great thing because you can do everything, uh, but for me it's like, okay, I'm doing everything, but I know what is true to my artistry, which is my independent music, which is my non-film music. But apart from that, as a singer, you can still position yourself in so many different sounds. You can do a party song one day, you can do a bhajan the other day, you can do like a slow acoustic, like, very Arijit Singh type of song.
Yeah, yeah.
So as a singer, you're in so many different places. But with the lockdown being here, as you know as well, in India, non-film music, independent music just
Right.
boom, like it
Yeah.
just like blasted off over there. So that's when I was like, okay, this is great. I'm gonna continue to do all these singing projects that I love and I just like to be and work with others. But at the same time, I know, and that is exactly what happened in the lockdown, because I was like, okay, I don't know who to go to. I don't know how to reach out to anyone here. I've just come back from the US and it's the lockdown. So I'm like, okay, what should I do? So I was literally in this room when I made Dinorati. That's one song that I composed it. I wrote the lyrics. I co-wrote the Antra part with a friend, but I produced the whole thing. I recorded the whole thing in this studio, and then the song was out, and it was just amazing because like the kind of response people have given it for it to be an independent release as well. So it was amazing, man.
That again, that is amazing. And like you say, um, it's an organic process. I know it
Yeah.
sounds cheesy to say it like that, and everyone will, hey man, it's got to come out naturally. Even when you talk about jamming and stuff, it's such an artist thing to say. And I'm like, oh, well, but in the same way, it's the same with kind of comedy, and when you kind of coming up with an idea, and I love the best part of doing stand up is I love the green room backstage, because that's where everyone's just shooting stuff and chatting and just kind of like, what about this? Hey man, did you see that on TV? And one guy's absolutely hates Marvel movies, and I'm like, who hates Marvel? No, you can't hate. I do. I hate them all. But he's got a comedic take on it, right? I mean, well, actually, it's not even that funny. It's just very opinionated. But in the same way with music, you must come across people that are, that just know what they want or don't know what they want or are playing around with that. And it's that process. What again is finding is interesting is there's going to be people listening to this, and I hope there is, people that are either, the other side of 30, 35, 40 years old, kind of going, man, why didn't I think? I met a woman who's a good friend of ours, who's just about to become the like top job at Vodafone in the UK, right?
Okay.
So big
Awesome.
businesswoman. She's
Yeah.
absolutely killing it. She's doing so great in business. And I said, oh, so where's it all going then? What's the plan? She went, oh, I'll do this for a few years. If I can, pay my mortgage off and da. She goes, then I just want to get back to singing. And I'm like, oh, I felt sad because I'm like, oh, so you didn't pursue that because you have to do this. But it takes real balls to give up everything and follow your dream. I'm doing it. I'm going, you know what? I'm going to go daily on my podcast. I don't care. I'll just up my game and commit myself to this and and not chase the definite money and the definite outcome. When did that happen for you? When did you kind of go, oh, okay, I'm gonna go all in? Because you could have easily helped support your dad, stayed in a bit of the background, but you put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing again, like, dad's been since the start, he's just been like, okay, whatever you do, just make sure it's your thing, you own it, and find your own, like, journey and your own process to get to that one goal, no matter what it is. Because just like the processes that we've seen with other friends, and the same way with my dad as well, like, he was an artist and he was painting till the age of 15, 16. He used to do poster paintings with his dad. So back in the day when there used to be no digital printing, they used to literally go around in Mumbai, do the whole scaffolding, hang on the posters and paint. Like that was, and he thought, okay, that is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna be. Like that is, but then he always had this knack, of course, for voices and for singing. And once he grabbed onto the mic, once he got onto the stage, it was just like a totally different like feeling for him. And just having his journey, like whatever experiences he shared with me. So for me as well, I was like, okay, I want to sing, but I always knew that I want to do something more creative in terms of, how's the song made? Like, what are they doing behind the scene? And of course, even like uh, great talented friends like Amal and Arman and all these guys, like they have been doing it for a while, and I'm sure even Amal must have like shared so many experiences of him like starting off with the whole production side and the composition side. So just that entire side really fascinated me. It literally started off with this curiosity of like, okay, how is it done? Like just searching something on YouTube, how do you do music production, and how is a song made, how all these guys doing it, like all the top songwriters like Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars, they are doing their own songs as well as writing for others and like acing it, just killing it in that. So that I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that can really, is something that really fascinates me because I don't know much about it. So that is why I was like, okay, might as well just dive like headfirst into it. And with that, like uh, uh, just the process of that's the main thing, just the concept of having an idea that just came in your head and then having something tangible in an audio form that you're listening to is just like blows my mind away when I listen to all these great artists and music.
Right. Now there's this kind of what I'm going to just describe as an invisible barrier, because on this side of the barrier, this is a safe place, right? On the left side of it, and where you come up with an idea in your head. For me, it might be a joke, it might be a parody song, it might be a TV show idea, and then you got to go through the process and you start you start thinking about it, you start developing it in your mind maybe, but then to jump that barrier and to go, I'm going to put it out there. That's where a lot of people won't do it. That's where like that woman I was talking about, who go, yeah, no, but I couldn't possibly be a singer, or it's just not going to happen. Or, people talk about stand up. Oh my God, I don't know how you have the confidence to do stand up. I would be petrified. I'm like, no. I'm petrified. I'm petrified all the time.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but something, what is that then, Siddhant? What you
Yeah,
tell me,
I
what
think
makes us go, no, I'm going to put it out there?
I think it's just like for me, it's like okay, because I know like every musician, every creative person has like so much of self-doubt, like just constantly back and forth, and everyone goes through it. Like I literally like I've got 20, 30 like song ideas just sitting in my phone, but like at some point either is like okay, it's too much, like I just have to put this out, or you just create so much and probably release a small percentage of it that you find like okay, yeah, I'm comfortable. Like if I've got 10 song ideas right now, I might just work on 3 of them right now till they're finished and just put it out. Because like I think this whole everyone is like okay, we all go through it, this too, like you're like okay, how am I going to do this? Like when you're starting off, the idea, it feels exciting and you have this amazing song idea or this joke or whatever creative thing it might be, but then you're like okay, ho- to just get to that other side, right, to just put it out, like okay, how am I going to make myself feel confident in putting this out? So for me, it is with the song, I love to come up with the melody right now. That's like kind of what I love doing, as well as the production. I'm not that much of a lyric guy. Like I work with other friends who are into the lyric process. But once I have the song idea or a music production idea, for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to see either who are the friends or what is the team or who are the people I can collaborate with to make this process much easier for me, so that I'm not just stuck in my head and I'm like, okay, I can't take the next step, I can't finish this. Or if it's something that I'm super confident in, I'm just like, okay, just set a deadline, just set a time. I'm like, no matter what comes in the way, I'm just going to finish the song in the next 3 days and just put it out. And it's like more than the people that are listening, of course the audience, that the fans that are messaging and like listening to the song and feeling a connect with the song, is just that satisfaction of having something that you created from your mind just being out there in its finished form out in the world. So just that particular feeling of okay, my song is complete, my idea is out right now. And it's so daunting because you literally can't do anything once it's out.
That's right.
So like
There's no
move
going
on to
back.
the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's It's just that I suppose I want what I want is for people to listen to the podcast and go, you know what, just go for it. Go for it, stick it out there. Because I think really what it comes down to is the fear of other people maybe saying, dude,
Of course.
you died on your ass there, man. What did you think that was funny, Tommy? You think that's funny? And now obviously we're in danger of, no man, that's offensive. Oh my God, so at least your music can't be offensive, or maybe some people can call it. They're like, oh my God, how could you? Or, or you're gonna use a certain rhythm and a melody, or you're gonna like, oh no, you can't put that with that or that. Who says that goes? Which is why no matter if you're in business, no matter if you're in anything, you talked about collaboration. It comes down to the team. It comes down to having people around you that believe in you. Exactly. Your vibe affects your tribe. All these famous people say, they say, surround yourselves with the people that you wanna be more like, be inspired. So who's because I saw your Instagram post the other day. I saw what were you doing with Imran Malik? Are you working together? Are you chilling?
So I mean, we were just we were in school together, all of us in school. So that's literally how we know each other. And
who was cleverer? Who was clever at school? You or Rahman? Tell it. Say it. Who got better grades?
Both were equally not good.
Oh, no, well, look at you. That's a sign of a friendship.
I'm just kidding, but literally in school too, you're like always like going for every competition. So I was one grade above him, so we were just sent as the from school, you're gonna go for this competition, you're gonna go for this singing competition. It was it was such a fun, and we were always in the band and always hanging around in school, so we know each other. And of course our parents and families also just know each other, but that's and
so he was just chilling. He was just chilling with you the other day.
Yeah, just a Diwali party thing.
Just because you touched on school life there, and when I had an in-depth interviewee thing with Rahman a couple of years ago, and he spoke about school life, and he said it wasn't fun. It wasn't a big part of his school life. Was being picked on. Guys, when he suddenly started to what was he saying, sing and kind of get a bit popular, guys suddenly switched on him. And are a bit like they have. Were you okay throughout school life in that respect, or was all school life tough for all kids in many ways?
So my thing is, I was so silent, I literally did not talk to anyone. So luckily for me, I never was in that situation where I was kind of bullied or anything like that. But I guess I was that silent that no one even noticed me in the classroom. But
that comes with its own. That comes with its own issues in some respects.
Of course, and I know it's kind of unfortunate with just the whole I don't even know why people bully each other, but still it's a sad scene. But for me in school, I was literally that guy with chashma. My hair was down till here, and I was just quiet, sitting in the side, not talking to anyone. My sister used to make fun of me because she was in the same school. In the lunch break or any short break, she used to just come and meet me or anything, and I used to be so shy and awkward at that. Oh my God, my sisters are why is she saying hi to me, and just run around.
Your own sister.
Yeah, my real sister. So I was that guy, basically, just super shy. But the other side to it was whenever I had to be in the band or I had to be on stage in some competition, some singing competition. So I guess music is that thing that kind of created this shield around me, as to say, and this other personality, just being on stage. Once I'm off stage, I was just okay, he's just vanished. You don't know where he is.
But come on, and I mean this in a wonderful way. It's weird, isn't it? Because nobody else will get that. Yeah. People see me on stage, and you see it in comedy, and they go, oh, I bet you don't feel any insecurity, or you're fearless. We all think those things. But there you are, the shy kid. Your dad's singing for big songs and big films. Your dad's a famous man. He's the voice of Amitabh Bachchan. I mean, I can't even really get my head around what that was like for you, because and your family, because You just can't. It's like saying, you know, that woman there is the voice of the Queen Mother in England growing up. The Queen, no, you know the Queen Mother's voice? Yeah, that's not her real voice. You know who does it? That woman there. And I'm her son. You know, that's what it was. So, you know, you had what you would have met the Big B and the Bachchan family.
Sure.
Growing up, right?
So yeah.
And then there you are, the nerd at school, not talking to anyone. I'm like, I'd be going around bragging. Amitabh Bachchan used my toilet. What? You know, I'd be like, you know, I'd be giving it the large.
No, but literally, like, with dad, like, and Mr. Amitabh Bachchan ji, so the relationship has always been so good. It's like family. So I remember when I was young, we had gone to his place for Holi. And there was this huge like holy bash happening, and I was literally just like, you know, staring at him because he's one person you just can't look him in the eye, man. No. Like it's just like everything is just like break everything. You're just so I'm like just like staring down like once he's there, and everyone's like playing holy and stuff. And he had come over once to like, you know, inaugurate the previous recording studios that we had here in the same building. So that was like a really special moment. And again, I just look back at the photos where I'm like this small and like he's just there. But it's been like, of course, with that because like that's one thing, even like the way he just modulates his voice for say Mr. Amitabh Bachchan or any actor. Like if he's in a room with you for like an hour, I'm sure in the next hour I'll be able to like talk in your voice too.
Your dad,
right? Like
yeah, you're right. Your dad is incredible like that. But again, so and I want to come back to what you said about your dad on stage when you said he could just command it. And there's other singers I've seen do that. I mean, even like this is not comparing the two in any way, but Sukhwinder Singh. When I saw Sukhwinder Singh on stage, he's chatting, he's doing jokes, he's talking to the ladies in the front row, and then he'll sing a big song, and then he'll sing a little bit, you know, like a little, I don't know what to call it, little ditties and things like that, you know, like little poetry things and things like that, shayari kind of style. And you think, man, you're like, in England, we have like what they call like the red coats on typical English holidays where they go on holidays in these kind of camps and they'd all be there. And then every evening there'd be a show done by someone who just commands the audience and can do a bit of singing, do a joke, do a this, do a that. Your dad is that generation. Do you think that's gone now? Do you think now you've got you being all cool and trendy with your big hair and Aman Malik and Amara and all these independent label kids coming through, that we're going in a different direction now, and that's okay. It's just the evolution of it all. It's all, now's your time. Now's your generation. This is why I wanted to get you on as well, because you, Amal, and others, it's, you know, you're not the producers from even 10, 15 years ago. There's a very different thing happening now with you guys.
Yeah, so I think like, firstly, like with performers, like everyone has a different, you know, style and like a different kind of take on it. But for me, like this is again like something my dad's always said, that no matter where I am going, like whoever's performing, like from say, of course, and all these guys have done it on stage, as you said, Sukhinder Singh, like they are just on the stage, like controlling the whole like scene. So exactly. And for me, it's like, okay, every time I'm at any performance, at any concert, in the wings or in the audience, I'm just, you know, trying to learn what the other person is doing. Just that is like, and no matter what, like this is even something my dad has said, no matter where he is, he's also just like in the wings, observing, learning what the other person is doing, how the audience is reacting to the different things that you're, you know, talking. And I guess like over time for me, because I remember my first live show was when I was 5 years old in Fiji Islands. I sang a duet.
Come on, hold on a minute. You can't just drop that in. Yeah, oh yeah. Because you know, where did I do my first performance? School play, little rubbish little hall. My first live was in the Fiji Islands. Oh, it's been a hard life, hasn't it, Siddhant? No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So I mean, that's something in itself. Okay.
So it was a duet with my sister. We sang Musu Musu Hasi Deo Malai Lai. So that was like just like super cute, like with the mic, just like forgetting all the lyrics. But just because a mom told us to learn the lyrics, we're like, okay, learning it up.
But do you remember being scared on stage? Because I've got a 4-year-old son. He would never get on stage and sing at 5. You know, like he just wouldn't.
So for me, yeah, definitely, like, even now, like, there's this like nervousness that always happens once you're right before stepping onto the stage. But I feel that slight nervousness is a really good thing, because like then you're in this kind of this other state where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna make sure everything is gonna be good, and what you've prepared and what you've learned. And but it's like once you step on stage, you kind of just forget everything. You're just like rolling, going on with the flow. But yeah, I have always been nervous, but luckily, because I was on stage from a very like young age, so it was just, I kind of didn't realize when I was like on stage, and I didn't get the time to kind of be like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so nervous or think about it.
Yeah. What now then? Where's it going? What's your next moves now that lockdown's kind of it is easing for you as well, isn't it? A little bit over there in India.
You're, I think, getting a little bit.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Let's not break up. Let's not break up, baby. Let's keep this love going. I was saying, what now? What's next for you? Where are you taking things? Is it there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up. But did you ask me like what's next?
What's next? Where's it going? Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what's next for you now?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So I've been actually working on a lot of new, like, singles and projects that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of collaborations. Like I have when I released Din Aur Aate, the second one that I put out was an acoustic version of the same song with Nikita Gandhi.
Oh,
so she's a great artist, an amazing songwriter as well. So we just she came over to the studio, and we just jammed on this. We made up this song together. We because she writes and she composes and sings as well. So we've come up with this new song. I'm hopefully just gonna planning to release it at the end of this year. So have a lot of like collaborations with, say, Nikita Gandhi. There are a couple of songs I'm doing with Sukriti Kakkar, with Prakriti as well. So, and in the pipeline,
we love we love them. Yeah. Mate, this is what I mean, and I want everyone to know this, really, I suppose, because this is, for me, from the outside. I am born in the 70s. I listen to music, like you say, from the Kishore Kumar and the Big B films, and Bappi Lahiri. I think Bappi Lahiri is amazing, right? I mean, he's my favorite, because he was doing that funky 80s psychedelic sound way back then, pioneering, right? So I love it. I joke about it a lot, because obviously Bappi just looks crazy, ridiculous, but all good, right? So and now there's, like I said, there's you said there's Janita. Who are you working with? Nikita Gandhi. There's Janita Gandhi. There's the Malik brothers. There's yourself. There's this whole wave, and I'm like, ooh. And when I'm speaking to Amal, and he's like, man, the independent scene is coming, man, because we're not taking no shit from the big labels anymore, and we're doing our own thing a little bit more, and we've got the presence and we've got the following to do it. And I know that you're a part of that. So that's kind of, I just wanted to kind of check in, and I can see it in your eyes. I'm excited for you. I think you're excited for the future.
Yeah, so I'm literally like 6 or 7 like different projects that are going on right now. Someone's like a song's at the lyric phase, something's at the production phase, something like everything's done. We're trying to figure out how to do the music video and stuff. So it's a really like exciting thing right now, and I've always wanted to do this apart from, say, just singing and being in the studio and singing a song for another music composer, but to be in the driver's seat and decide like, okay, this is what the song's going to be about. This is how I'm going to look in the music video. This is what steps I'm going to do. Like, and it's all in your control. Like, I can dance in one video, in the other I can probably just like skydive or something like that, and shoot that and just put it out there, because it's such an exciting time to be for like, independent like musicians. And there's always this thing of, okay, Bollywood versus independent, but exactly like how all these guys like Amal, Arman, Sukupuku, me, Nikita, we're kind of doing and wanting to do both. And it's like that's where the magic is. Like, okay, we want to do our own thing. We're putting out our own songs, our own vision out there into the audience. And of course, like with the music industry, and Bollywood music is not going to go anywhere. Like it's there. Songs for movie, songs for picture, songs for film. That's another ball game altogether. So, but it's so exciting now to see, and I just want to like say this out to all this, like say singers, artists who might be just like, okay, working on the songs or just coming out with newer stuff. You are the artist, you're in control. This is like literally anything that comes to your mind, you can just do it. So it's a really, really like exciting time to be in. And apart from, these Hindi projects that I'm working on, there are a lot of songs that I'm working on as a songwriter, co-writing for other artists that are English songs, artists, upcoming pop artists in Los Angeles, in around the world. So even that side of it, the songwriting side of it, in fact, for me, coming up with English songs and like kind of melodies is much more easier and comes much more naturally, because that's the kind of music we're listening to 24/7, right? Like all your top like pop. It's so for me, like all the inspiration now comes from your Love, Charlie Puth, this whole chill new age pop side of things. So that's what I'm like really inspired by. And yeah, so there are a lot of like songs, and hopefully like back to back, it's all gonna come out.
Well, you better start playing those guitars and using that studio, that lovely shiny studio of yours. Mate, it's so good catching up with you. I look forward to more. I look forward to seeing and hearing of new music. Please keep me posted. If I'm honest, people say, children are a reflection of their fathers. I think your father is a reflection of you, because you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy. And I'm like, I honestly, I connected with your dad. We had a little brief chat. I see what you're up to. And I'm like, hey, there's something going on there, and I see a little sparkle in you, and I think just go smash it. That's all I want as your older uncle's. I'd like to think brother, but I'm going to go down to uncle territory. Just go kill it, man.
Territory. I can see all the spiked up hair.
So. Yeah. Well, you picked up your guitar. I'm like, what's he going to do? What are you doing? You're going to play us out. I was going to wrap up, but now you're picking up your guitar.
But I'm just gonna sing Din Aur Aate, which was my first independent.
Oh, mate, thank you. Go on then, hit me with it.
Yeah. दिन और रातें बहते ही जाए, जिंदगी हमसी गई है, ओ जितने दूर हम उतने करीब हैं, तुमको मिलके बताएं फासले भी जरूरी है, नजदीकियां बढ़ाने को, हो दिन और रात हो बहते ही जाए, जिंदगी हमसी गई है, ओ जितने दूर हम उतने करीब हैं, तुमको मिलके बताएंगे. Yeah.
Oh man, well done, well done. You know what I want to be now? Like, I feel like for me, I'm in a young college movie. We're on the beach. There's a little fire, and you and some cool people with cool hair are all singing that. And there's some hot like girls around, and everyone's just friends and it's being cool. But something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen in the film. I can feel it. But at the moment, it's all great. That's the great bit of the film. It's a movie. You've created a movie in my mind. Siddhant, you're a star. Thank you so much for your time, bro. I wish you all the best. And let's catch up real soon, okay?
Thank you so much, man. It was so good to talk to you, and I'll see you soon.
I heard, genuinely, this is just as a fact, I heard that if you hit subscribe to this podcast now. If you have subscribed on Apple or on Spotify or on JioSaavn or wherever you are listening right now, if you are subscribing and getting that on a regular, which means you get the little notification when the new episode comes out, fact, this is a fact. Don't tell no one else's. If you hit subscribe, you can eat as many jalebis as you want and you will never put on weight. I know. I don't understand the logic. It makes no sense to me. I mean, how's a podcast relate to the DNA way in which your body breaks down jalebi sugar stuff running through your cell? I don't understand. But what I do know, it's a little cheat to life. So if you like jalebis, then you should hit subscribe to this podcast. Oh, and follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us. Eat jalebis. Be happy.